Where are all the RPG book reviews? We used to have some, right? But where did they go? If you've been in this hobby as long as I have, many of you have, I'm just 28, then you'll remember in the early days of 5th edition especially, there used to be kind of a plethora of RPG book reviews. If WotC would put out a product, you'd be damn well sure that there'd be a bunch of videos covering that product and talking about whether it was any good. People would flip through the pages, they'd talk about, did it work? Did it not work? What was it like? It wasn't that many people who did it, but there were reviews for these things. These days, there are barely any. Where did they go? Welcome to Mystic Arts, where I'm outside now because I wanted to make a video outside because it's summer, even though it doesn't look like it. My name is Daði, I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for a little bit over a decade. Of course, there were a lot of things that led into the fact that people don't really do 5th edition reviews anymore, one of them being the OGL that sort of soured the whole community on the game, which, fair enough. Second, there was that whole thing about people flipping through books and then getting sued or takedown notices or the Pinkertons or whatever you want to talk about. All of those things had a substantial effect on people's mood to cover these things, to cover 5th edition releases. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about content reviews. Is this thing that I bought, is it any good? Is it worth it? Is it worth the money? The reason I'm making this video is because I have just released my own RPG product. It's a 5th edition adventure called Crown of the Fungal Queen, and I made it with chat over the course of 6 months and then got a whole bunch of art made for it. We wrote the crap out of it, and I'm very proud of it. And when this video comes out, it's out on Patreon. There's going to be a link in the description. If the adventure sounds cool to you, go ahead and check it out. It's like 100 and something pages, and it's massive, and it's a starter adventure for my campaign setting using hex crawling rules and dungeoneering rules and everything else we talked about on the channel. I'm incredibly proud of the work we did, and I would love to hear what people think about it and see if people want to run it. I cannot believe what we managed to pull off and all the different parts of the adventure that come together, the various different plot threads that are told throughout specific dungeons that all come together in the town of Dilhorn, where the whole thing is set out of, but it isn't out just yet. And I'm still working on it when I'm filming this video because I'll be releasing this video when I go to UKGE and I'll be abroad when you're watching this. And one thing I'm anxious about is that even if people like it, I won't get to know. And if people dislike certain things about it that I could fix, I might never get to know. Because there are so few people covering RPG reviews, specifically third-party 5th edition reviews. It is a tiny, tiny minority of creators who actually go to the trouble of reviewing these things. But this isn't my first foray into this kind of thing. I've been doing the Broadsheets on Patreon for a while now, and they've been well received within my community, and we've made sure to hand out review copies to people to see if somebody wants to make a video of it. On one hand, because we want to advertise it, we want people to see it and know that it exists. But secondly, and far more importantly, I want to know what I can change. What can I improve upon? What kind of stuff bothers people? What kind of things do people wish was in there? I don't know. I really don't know. We sent out review copies and we were lucky enough that some folks took us up on it, and I really appreciate all the reviews they made. It was incredible getting to see genuine reactions from people.
Those Victorian vibes, look, excellent, chef's kiss.
But the most rewarding one didn't come from any of the review copies we sent out. We got an authentic review, and I consider that a huge get. This guy, Connor, I'll make sure to put him up on screen, bought the module, specifically broadsheet number 2, and made a review of the dungeon in there, the Milton estate. And he was very kind. He gave it 9 stars out of 10. He told me about all kinds of stuff that he liked, but most importantly, he told me about several pieces of critical feedback that I loved hearing because all of them I agreed with. I thought they were amazing. He specifically pointed out lack of read-aloud text or the stairs on the map not being legible enough, and I saw all of the things he pointed out, and I thought, you know, I can fix all of this. When I do another adventure, I'm gonna do it differently, and I'm gonna fix all those things. Nobody who got sent a review copy pointed out those tiny little nitpicks, but that's exactly what I wanted to hear and see. And I assume every publisher, every third-party publisher, everybody making their own game would love to get more of those kinds of authentic, real reviews of people who are weighing the cost-benefit analysis. They're saying whether or not this was worth the money. They're saying whether or not it was any good. And crucially, they're saying exactly what can be improved upon for future publications from that publisher. I have stumbled upon a side quest. Get the ball. Oh, no. I deny the call to adventure. So I got an authentic review and it really got me thinking. Where are all the reviewers? Where did they go? Where have they been? The immediate next thought is, there have never been that many of them. And I wonder why. Are RPGs so ephemeral that it's difficult to review them? Are third-party products such a small market that nobody wants to tackle it? More critically, the people that do tackle it don't get any traction. That's probably likelier. The thing you gotta understand about this hobby is that the barrier to entry is so much lower than it is in any other medium. Whether it's video games or movies or even novels, the barrier to entry has, over the last several decades, been precipitously lowering, especially the last 2. In film, it's because of the advent of DSLRs, cheap editing software, and now these days, free editing software. With video games, it's the rise of Unreal Engine or asset libraries or what have you. But in RPGs, the barrier has lowered. It has never been tremendously high, but it has lowered so much that being a one-person publishing brand, or in the case of Mystic Arts, a handful of people, it doesn't take a lot to support a small team. And those small teams, like my own, we're doing it because we love it, because we think it's amazing and we're so lucky to get to do this. But there are a lot of us. And that's not even something that reviewers are taking into account. That's something the audience, the customers, if you want to call them that, are taking into account. Which third-party thing do they support?
What happens after a TPK? Let's say your party wipes and you want to keep playing. Archvillain Encounters, Death and Beyond is the sponsor of this week's video. It's the first installment in the Archvillain Games new series, and it brings along D&D Encounter boxes. Each box has its own 75mm base premium plastic mini, a 50-page adventure book compatible with 5th edition and 5.5, one dry erase map, cards, tokens, and all you need to run the most epic and cinematic multi-phase boss encounters right out of the box. And all of these bosses are like epic level undead archvillains, like mega bosses. Explore their profane lairs and encounter their minions, but beware that Gravelords are very strong and ready to consume your party unless you put up the greatest of fights. There are 15 different boxes, so you can elevate your campaign by picking up 1, 2, 5, or all 15 of them. So go back right now before the time runs out and don't miss out on Archvillain Encounters. I'll put a link in the description so they know who sent you.
But let's put aside small publishers like me for a second and let's talk about the big Kickstarters. As of recording this video, which is somewhere around the end of May 2026, Kickstarters have made more money at this point in 2026 than they had in all of 2025. The 5e third-party publishing branch has gotten huge. It has gotten massive in a way that I think would have been difficult to predict, especially, only going as far back as 3 years ago. But even during the height of the D&D boom, I think this would have been difficult to foresee. And I know a couple of creators who are reviewing those products, and they talk about the classes you can play in them. Shout out to Enoth Strife, Jason over here. He does deep dives into all of these classes, how they work, and how you can build cool characters with them. But the people making those videos are almost all smaller channels. Bouncing back over to what has happened with third-party Kickstarters, especially for 5th edition, but even if you take all Kickstarters in the TTRPG space, it has gotten gargantuan. And it leaves me wondering what happened. Well, on one hand, I think the third-party Kickstarters are doing incredible work. Incredible work. You see the stuff they're putting out, both in terms of design quality, in terms of art, both quality and volume, but also in terms of game direction. Neon Odyssey looks fucking awesome. Watching the trailer gets me hype. It gets me excited to run games like that. Maybe their game, maybe my own. But regardless of which it is, I know that if I were to back that product, there would be stuff in it I would want to use. Same with Mythozoology. It looks incredible. Kaijus and monsters. It's got the crafting rules, it's part of the whole sort of loot tavern ecosystem like Halianas and all those things. This video isn't sponsored by either of those products, I'm just a fan. That spectacular game direction, I think, is beating out the competition. At the moment, if you compare the third-party slate of Kaijus and monsters with Mythozoology and sci-fantasy Neon Odyssey, and then you compare it to Ravenloft, the third reprint, I don't think it's difficult to see why audiences are gravitating towards more risky game direction. Something that is thrilling and enchanting, new and exciting. Especially when the main official offerings are Eberron reprints, Forgotten Realms reprints, Ravenloft reprints. So if you're a 5e fan, if you're someone who loves 5th edition, you have no problem with the game system, you still aren't supporting WotC because the third-party creators are doing it in a more exciting way. They are getting people more hyped. That's not to say that I don't have hope in the new D&D team. I know that these books take 3 years to make. In all probability, eventually, they will try something that gets me excited, especially if they go for riskier game direction, something weird. And listen, if hearing me talk about the game I love and how I'm slightly disappointed in the current lineup of books they have coming out makes you want to leave a comment telling me that I'm playing the wrong game, I invite you to remember rule number 1 of our community. There is no wrong way to play the game. I'm having a good time, even if I'm not buying any of the books. So if lacking exciting game direction is the reason people are not making as many 5th edition official reviews anymore, will there be a wave of reviews of Mythozoology and Neon Odyssey? I don't know, but I don't think so, because I don't think that a lack of reviews is the issue. I think the barrier of entry is so low. Most people who want to go be creative in the RPG space, those people would rather make RPG products than review RPG products. I think those two identities are going to be constantly at loggerheads the whole time. That's not to say that there aren't RPG reviewers who are treading that line very well. Questing Beast, for instance, is really good at talking about OSR games, making reviews of them, explaining to you what he likes and what he doesn't like. And he's an author of a game, and that never comes up. And that's, I think, because the OSR community of games is so intermingled already that a lot of those games are gladly stealing mechanics from one another, giving praise to one another, and most of those games have a page at the front saying, these are all the games that I like. These are all OSR games, and I love their mechanics. I mix them together in the way that I like in this book. That whole style is a lot more folk RPG than anything else, and I think it's sort of the destiny of everybody who gets into the OSR space to eventually design their own game. On the completely other side of the RPG review spectrum is someone like Quinns Quest. Quinns does spectacular reviews and incredible deep dives into systems that he likes and ran a whole campaign in. So therefore, every review he makes is something of a recommendation to a certain degree. But he also gladly lists all the things he doesn't like about it at the end of each review, which I think is kind of essential for a review. Otherwise, it's just kind of an advert. I also have done my own reviews, several of them in fact. I did one for the new Dungeon Master's Guide, I also did one for the Monster Manual and for the D&D Starter Set. All D&D products that I liked and wanted to recommend with a caveat. So the metrics on my reviews were fairly poor. In time since, they've climbed a little bit and they've continued to find new audiences, which is great, I'm thankful for that. But at the outset, when those videos were uploaded, they did very poorly. Even the starter set video, it continues to be one of my worst performing videos ever. They weren't ads, nobody paid me to talk about those things. I just wanted to, I was a fan. It was a genuine, authentic review. But it was an awful experience for me, for two reasons. First, I read the whole books and the product, the starter set, all of it, cover to cover. I analyzed the crap out of it. I didn't playtest it. I feel like I should have. But the thing with these reviews is you want to get them up when the book comes out. Otherwise, nobody's searching for it. So already there, you're up against it. Two, the comments were terrible. They were. One is some form of edition warring or system warring that I just find exhausting. And some of those users will go reply to everybody in the comment section, absolutely berating them for daring liking their review. Two are the kind of comments that just want to talk about the zeitgeist in general. They want to talk about why this book and not that book. They want to talk about why reviews for D&D and not something else. And I guess there's a third type, the kind of comments that get, on most videos, which are lovely and nice, and I'm very happy to get them. But those first two categories made it so that it was really emotionally draining to make that review. So with emotionally draining comments and the video not performing that well, I'm left wondering, clearly this is not something people want from me, which is kind of why I haven't done a book review since. When we started the channel, we were thinking about doing lots of book reviews. I wanted to do a deep dive in the adventures I've run, talk about what worked with them and what didn't. And over time, as we made more and more videos, I would sort of slice up those opinions and put them into other videos as examples. And if that's my experience on flagship products, the biggest ones in this space, I'm assuming other creators have had similar experiences and therefore they never went and took the delve on doing a third-party book review, which I guess is why I think it's fairly unlikely that we're going to get a slew of reviews for books like Neon Odyssey and Mythozoology, even though I think we absolutely should. I think it'd be beneficial to us all. I think it'd be really good for the health of the hobby. Now, you might have listened to me ramble for this whole bit, and you might have been thinking, Daði, there are absolutely people doing these reviews. I watch them, here they are. Please go put them in the comments below. I will take a look at everybody who mentions a channel name in there, and I'll go check out their reviews. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Oh, nice. Oh, there's a path on the other side, which is all to say that I think there is space for someone to step up and be the RPG book review person, to make these kinds of videos and talk about the books that they like, talk about the ones they don't like, and maintain a certain sense of class and gentlemanness about the whole thing. Not rage bait and anger and bitterness, but just constructive feedback. What do you want to see? Tell us about your tastes. Tell us about what you think worked and what didn't. Tell us about the little tweaks that would improve your experience. And maybe that's going to happen. Maybe that's, fundamentally sappy of me to believe this, but I still think there is space for someone to come in, and be that RPG review tastemaker, expert, that we can all look to and go, they make excellent book reviews. They don't feel like ads, they don't feel like we're being sold something. They don't need to be timed with the release of a book, that somebody can just make the review when it happens and we listen to them. Quinns Quest is great. I would love to get this stuff for 5th edition, for Pathfinder, for Draw Steel products and Daggerheart. Maybe that person's you. Or maybe this RPG community isn't built for it. Maybe we are fundamentally, the people who choose to engage in this hobby, maybe we are all more creative than we are critical. Maybe we're all more excited about creating new things than we are about buying products and being angry at devs. Maybe there's a reason that videos on the internet talking about how to homebrew your own game, how to make your own mechanics, how to design your own systems, how to build your own encounters, build your own adventures, how to create your own NPCs, how to draw your own art and maps and characters. Maybe the reason those things perform better, those videos get more views, those creators make those videos, is because we all love creating so much. The barrier to entry is low, and we are a tiny little community in the great sea of all things. Even the giants in this space are nothing compared to video game giants or Hollywood movie studios, and I think that's good. I think the giants shouldn't be that big anyway. I think that we, as a hobby, are at our best when we're tiny and focused. I know that's the case for us. We have a healthy Patreon. We have lots of stuff we're making. We're incredibly proud of everything we get to make. And every month, financially, is tight. It's really tight. And it's difficult to see how we're gonna make ends meet sometimes. I think that's good. I think that means that we're spending the money to make sure that we're making better stuff for you in return. Whether you're a subscriber on the Patreon or you're watching these videos. We take what we get and we put it into cameras, time, script, into help, to editors, writers, artists. And I'd much rather be doing that and being creative than making reviews. You could be cynical about that. I'm not gonna be. I'm cynical about plenty of things in life, and I don't need to be cynical about this hobby. I love it. And there are always gonna be people who hate me for that. And I don't care. I really don't. I just wanna keep being able to do what I do. I think there's plenty of things this video could have really been about, whether that's this constant discourse about Dungeon Tube dying, or D&D Beyond drops, or whatever it is. Frankly, none of those things matter for me at my table. What I'm doing with my time, I don't really think that's gonna change anything about how I roleplay, or the game that I'm playing, or my friends that hang out with me every week, or what it is we do at the table when we play. So whether you like it or not, my stance continues to be that it doesn't matter for what I want to do, which is just have fun with my friends. And I don't think it should matter. I said the same thing when Critical Role picked D&D over Daggerheart, and the whole internet went thinking about it, and I'm sitting here going, I don't know, I'm gonna keep playing my game. This doesn't concern me, and I'm not saying people aren't allowed to have strong opinions on these things. You know, go right ahead. If you really feel for it, go let your voice be heard. I encourage you. But if you're tired of all that stuff and you just want to go have fun with your friends, remember that this is just the internet, and you can go out and touch grass. I try to go for a walk once or twice a day. Helps me chill out. I've got a lot of stuff to worry about. So I go for a little walk for my mental health. And if I'm being honest, I think that's why there are so few RPG reviewers. I think for most people playing this hobby, for almost everybody, they are excited about the thing they get to do at their table. The special thing about RPGs is that we don't need anything. We don't. We really don't. I like all those things. I like spending money on my hobby. I like getting dice and minis. I like backing Kickstarters. I like every part of it. But you don't have to. You can just sort of relax. And with video games, people are beholden to the dev, right? People get angry at video games. They want to see reviewers get angry. They want to see, the things that they don't like get talked about because they are otherwise powerless to change it. With movies, same thing. You have even less control. You just sit there and watch it. Did you like it, yay or nay? I think reviews are good for that. With RPGs, it's all about taste. It's all about what you like, what you don't like. But with RPGs, you aren't powerless. It's your table, it's your friends, it's your game. If there's stuff you don't like, you don't include it. And if there's books that excite you and they let you down, you change them. You don't buy those books again. You don't buy books from those people again, unless something changes and then you change your mind, or you don't. It's so much more relaxed. It doesn't have to be that intense. I wish there were people reviewing the product so that I would know, is it good, is it bad, what can I change, what can I learn? But I also don't think there's ever really gonna be a huge wave of reviewers in the same way that there are for video games, because our hobby is so small and we're all so creative and we're all so powerful in the sense of the hobby. Every single consumer has so much authority over their game and over how they use the stuff they buy, it matters less. People are more able to make up their own mind, and they want to make up their own mind. Most people, I think, watch reviews largely as a sort of, what's in this kind of thing, out of curiosity. Is this the kind of stuff I like? So I think the next time you're frustrated about something regarding this hobby, I just want you to remember, this is the only one like it. It's special, it's one of a kind, and it is whatever you want to make it. And that's where we'll pick it up next time. Thanks so much for watching this video. This channel is run by me and my girlfriend, who would wave right now if I hadn't just left the house to go for a walk. If you want to support what we do here, we have a Patreon, we put a bunch of stuff on there. Make reviews about it. No, whatever. Until next time, keep studying the mystic arts.